What if the story you thought you knew had layers you've never considered? Could it be that Lyle and Erik Menendez, the infamous brothers convicted of murdering their parents, are victims of a justice system that failed to see the bigger picture? Kim Kardashian, known for her advocacy work in criminal justice reform, believes so. But what led her to take up their cause, and why are the Menendez brothers back in the spotlight now? Lyle and Erik Menendez were convicted in 1996 for the 1989 murders of their wealthy parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. The case shocked the nation, with many seeing it as a clear-cut case of two spoiled rich kids committing a gruesome act to inherit their parents' fortune. But could the truth be more complicated? The brothers have long claimed they acted in self-defense after years of abuse, a narrative that has gained traction as our understanding of trauma and abuse has evolved over the years. Kim Kardashian, who has earned respect for her work in criminal justice reform, recently made headlines with a powerful plea to reconsider the brothers' life sentences. In a personal essay for NBC, Kardashian called the Menendez brothers kind, intelligent, and honest men, who, despite their horrific crime, have grown and changed during their decades behind bars. She acknowledges that their actions were not excusable, but questions whether a life sentence without the possibility of parole is a just punishment in light of new evidence and the context of their upbringing. The renewed interest in the Menendez case largely stems from Netflix's new true crime drama monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez Story, and an upcoming documentary that dives deeper into the case. With these new portrayals of the Menendez brothers' lives, public curiosity has been reignited, and so has the debate over whether they were unfairly judged by a system that, at the time, had little understanding of sexual and emotional abuse, especially when it came to male victims. In a recent documentary, Erik Menendez expressed frustration with how their case has been portrayed. He said that had authorities properly investigated the scene, both he and his brother would have been arrested immediately rather than months later. The brothers have always maintained that they were driven to kill out of fear for their lives after years of horrific abuse at the hands of their father. Back then, their claims of sexual abuse were largely dismissed, with prosecutors painting a picture of two greedy young men looking to gain access to their parents' fortune. But the case against them wasn't as clear-cut as it seemed. Attorneys for the Menendez brothers argue that, in today's legal climate, they might not have been convicted of first-degree murder at all. Our understanding of trauma and abuse has evolved, and under current laws, the brothers' history of abuse would likely have played a larger role in the courtroom. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon recently announced that his office is reviewing new evidence in the case, including a letter written by Erik Menendez that supports their claims of sexual abuse. While the brothers don't dispute their guilt in the murders, they argue that their actions were a tragic outcome of their father's years of abusive behavior. Could this new evidence be enough to shift the public's perception of the brothers and spark a reassessment of their sentences? Kardashian, in her essay, reflects on how the media contributed to their demonization. She described how the press turned Lyle and Erik into monsters, focusing on their post-murder spending spree and portraying them as arrogant, privileged kids who killed their parents out of greed. This narrative left no room for empathy or consideration of the trauma they endured. It's worth noting that Kardashian's advocacy for the Menendez brothers isn't her first foray into criminal justice reform. She was instrumental in lobbying for the 2018 Bipartisan First Step Act, which aimed to reduce excessive sentences and encourage rehabilitation within the federal prison system. Her commitment to reform has already led to the commutation of several sentences, and she hopes the Menendez brothers will be the next to benefit from a more compassionate view of justice. In her closing argument, Kardashian wrote that Lyle and Erik Menendez were robbed of their childhoods by their parents, then robbed of any chance of freedom by a criminal justice system eager to punish them without considering the context or understanding the why. She believes that the brothers were condemned long before their trial began, as the sensational nature of the case and the proximity to other high-profile trials, such as the O.J. Simpson case, left little room for a fair and unbiased trial. While the Menendez brothers may never be able to undo the tragedy of their parents' deaths, Kardashian and their legal team argue that they deserve a chance at redemption. The question remains, should the justice system offer them that chance? What do you think? Should the Menendez brothers' life sentences be reconsidered in light of new evidence and changing perspectives on abuse? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest celebrity news and cases from Stardom Talks.